Although Tropical Storm Debby is heading north, the National Hurricane Center says it still presents a, quote, major flood threat for parts of the Carolinas. The storm caused at least 2 tornadoes in South Carolina, and in Dorchester County, which is just west of Charleston, emergency responders there had to rescue people using lifeboats. So for more on the ongoing response to Debby, I want to bring in Thomas McNeal. He is the Director of Emergency Management for Dorchester County, South Carolina. Thank you so much for making time to speak with us, especially at this incredibly chaotic and difficult time for you. How is Debby impacting your area, and what are some of the concerns there right now?
So we've been fortunate that there was some dry slotting to the storm, and the rainfall totals were a little bit less than was previously forecast. So our flash flooding potential, though it occurred, wasn't as significant as it could have been, which would have been catastrophic. What we're focusing on now is the riverine flooding, because all that water is making its way into our larger creeks and on into our greater river system that flows down into the Atlantic, some of it through Charleston. And we are looking at approaching major flood stage by Friday into Saturday along those rivers.
Wow. Okay. And so as we look ahead, Thomas, what's the local government there doing to help people who are impacted by the storm?
So we have 2 shelters open right now for folks who either felt they needed to evacuate, or if we do have to pull folks out of their homes and assist them to get out in floodwaters, we have a place to take them. We had sandbags available at the beginning of the storm. And then we're about to start doing door knocking with our Swiftwater teams and law enforcement to make sure folks along these areas that could be impacted by the flooding to come, that they are aware of the risk and that we find out what their plan is. If some of them will plan to stay, some of them will plan to go. We want to make sure that they know the threat and can make decisions wisely.
And Thomas, also hearing that parts of South Carolina were hit by tornadoes as well. I wonder how that might be complicating the emergency response that you're involved in, as well as law enforcement.
Well, our tornado threat is gone now, which is great because that does help. We do have some gusty winds still from the tropical storm, but it's not significant enough to hamper any of the future missions that we're planning at the moment. So we're lucky in that regard. And here in Dorchester County, we had some tornado warnings, but we didn't sustain any damage.
Okay, that's good to hear. And President Biden also approved emergency declarations for several states, including North Carolina. What does that look like on the ground?
So we're very fortunate. We have a Swiftwater team out of the state of Alabama here in Dorchester County with us right now, but they're just one of a number of teams and National Guard assets that have been brought in to assist us all at the local level with the rescue operations, with any health and human services missions like shelter operations. Red Cross has been involved, others, numerous volunteer groups. It's been pretty fantastic, the response that we were able to put on the ground very quickly.
And Thomas, we know that once the storm passes, that's when the cleanup, the rebuilding really begins. Walk us through the next steps in that process.
So as water recedes, we do debris management planning. We do check for damage assessments on any structures that may have been compromised by high water. And then, what other services are available to perhaps businesses that have been closed for a while. And so we wait to see, the declaration helps us with all the pre-storm work right now. And then a lot of it's based on the actual true damage after the fact. Our roadways, our bridges, they all need to be inspected if they were flooded, to see what the damage and actual impact was from the storm. But that's as the water recedes.
And Thomas, finally, I just want to ask you, for folks who are in the danger zone, what's your advice to people?
Our biggest advice right now is know what's coming. Know what flood may occur near you. We're in a bit of a lull right now between the initial impacts of the storm and then the flooding to come. We don't want people to get into a false sense of security and not be paying attention to what's possibly coming this weekend. And we ask people to stay out of the floodwaters. It's just not safe. Children shouldn't be swimming in flooded creeks and the rivers. There's a lot of dangers and hazards that are unseen underneath the water. And as always, turn around, don't drown.
Yeah, some great advice there. Thank you for those reminders. Thomas McNeal, we appreciate it.
Thank you.